Aha! Good morning. Coffee Conversations with Greg J is on. Y'all doing okay? Man, doing all right myself. Lost my glasses this morning. Can't see a lick, but the show must go on. We really excited about on today with our good brother representing us, representing the 8th District of the city of Long Beach. Councilman Honorable Al Austin is here with us this morning. Got a lot to talk about. A lot going on in these here streets. Yeah, we're getting ready for big concert that Councilman Austin is having on Saturday. We got a photo exhibit here at the Dream Creator Studio. I know there's a big music festival in what is that called? The Zafaria district of Long Beach. Just a lot. Block party in the East Village Arts. Man, Long Beach is popping. That's what's going on out here. Yeah, hope you guys are doing okay. Got a lot on our minds. We're seeing, the COVID-19 spikes. Dr. Anissa Davis coming with us next Tuesday to talk about all of that. To mask or unmask, to boost or not boost. It's just they're putting a lot on our heads, eh? Trying to pull out of Afghanistan. I mean, man, it's just a lot. Recalling the governor. It's not too late to register to vote on that piece there. You're going to be hearing a lot from us about that very subject, the whole recall vote. You should have got your ballot in the mail by now. If you haven't, I'll put in the chat a little later on where you can go register to vote and track your ballot and make sure, one thing I'm hearing is if we ignore this, people could win this election. I suppose that maybe you don't want in that office. I don't know. The bottom line is you got to participate. So we're not going to tell you how to do it or what to do, but we'll tell you all the information just to keep you informed. Go to Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com to get information. We're going to be posting stuff on the daily to figure out what to do in this whole recall situation. Well, without further ado, here he is. He represents the 8th District of the beautiful city of Long Beach. He's a good guy. That's what I say. Councilman Al Austin. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you today?
Pleasure to be on with you.
Yes, sir.
I'm doing great.
Awesome. First things first there, Councilmember Austin, I got to ask you, the headlines say you guys had a big vote on Tuesday that got the budget in order and everything. One person says, hey, the budget is adopted. The press in the city of Long Beach say that this was the first step to several steps that need to happen in terms of adopting the budget. The question I have for you is the budget adopted or no?
Well, it is adopted. We passed the budget. We will do we've done a formal vote. Some of it comes back in the form of resolutions and ordinances that have to be voted on again, but we see no problem. This budget, for all intents and purposes, is passed and adopted by the city council.
It's a done deal. All right. That's what's up. Okay. Yeah. Good work. We're in the spirit of recovery. And I will say before we go into our discussion today is, I'm really impressed with the city of Long Beach with how they've been able to be so resilient in every sector almost during this unprecedented time of pandemic. There's sure people can complain or observe or critique or whatever, but I think that faced with what you're faced with up there in City Hall, you guys have certainly done a decent job of keeping the city on track. How do you feel? How's recovery going from your seat?
Well, I think recovery is going pretty well. If you would have asked me if we'd be in this position a year ago, I would have. I don't know if I would have been so optimistic. A lot has changed in the last year. Administrations in Washington, D.C., acts of greatness by Congress and the president to, provide resources to local governments like Long Beach and throughout the country to allow us to recover from, devastating pandemic impacts that really impacted our not only our health care systems, but of course our economy. And so we have resources, about $249 million identified in our Long Beach Recovery Act that will help us bridge some of our budget woes, but also provide desperately needed resources in our city to deliver services to communities that have been impacted drastically. Our business community, our health department and health delivery system, our recovery for replenishing reserves that we had to go into for our local government to make sure that our city is financially strong and thriving, and is able to provide resources, for today and years to come. And so, yes, our Long Beach Recovery Act is going to be very, very helpful. That is aside from the budget that was actually passed, but they work in tandem because those Recovery Act dollars are actually helping to bridge some of the impacts from COVID-19.
Now, when you move about the state, and you talk to your peers that represent districts in other cities and everything, how do you, what's the conversation like? Are you like comparing notes with how you're making your moves in these unprecedented times, or outside of the city of Long Beach? I guess what I really want to ask is, who is your, like, where you look at them and you say, that city council person is doing the doggone thing in the face of this pandemic?
Well, I think there's several cities. I mean, I'm very fortunate that I'm able to network with city leaders from across the state, in some of the roles that I play in serving our city, as the board representative on the California League of Cities, and some of the regional boards that I sit on as well. Long Beach is looked at as a leader, believe it or not. We are dynamic. We have great a great council, mayor and council, but we also have dynamic staff that are moving the needle constantly. We pride ourselves on being a city that is nimble, but also one that is in touch with in tune with the values and priorities of our constituents. And so, yes, we have to do things differently from time to time. And if anything, we've learned that over the last year. We can do things differently. And I expect to see our local government, our city, continue to thrive, survive, but also be nimble and adaptable to challenges that face us.
We're faced now with this whole notion of a recall and for the governor, and we got our ballots in the mail and it's asking the questions and all of that. I saw a news report early this morning where they interviewed 3 people who were, lifelong Democrats, right? Supporters of the governor when he first came into office. But now they were saying they were kind of changing their mind or whatever. And I thought that was an interesting notion. And one of the main reasons they said they were changing their mind was because of the homelessness issue. I feel like homelessness isn't a problem that politicals like yourself can just wave a magic wand and it just goes away. However, it is a major consideration out here on these streets, no matter where you go. It's not just Long Beach and LA, and it's everywhere. What is your sense? Like, what do you think needs to happen to reduce homelessness in the city? And I'm just, we're just talking here. So I really would just, from where you sit, like, what can you do? The problem is almost overwhelming.
Well, I can tell you that the issue of homelessness is something that drags on and pulls on the conscience, and I know elected officials like me lose sleep over this issue on a daily basis. It's a challenge. It is the challenge of our day. And no, I don't blame Governor Newsom. I don't think that he should be the blame for the homelessness challenge that we have. This is a challenge that has developed over many years to get to the point that we are at. I think the solution requires a full court press, and it's everybody's problem, and everybody should be part of the solution and recognize that, and shouldn't be looking to the Sacramento or any elected official for the answers. But at the same time, as elected officials, we're responsible for managing and allocating resources and making sure that resources are going in the right directions to deal with the challenges that we face. And I think Governor Newsom has really, put more money into and more public resources into this challenge, particularly over the last 2-3 years since he's been in office, than anyone else. And so I give him that credit. The challenge with oftentimes with government, right, is that we can identify solutions, and as we're identifying solutions, we're still identifying solutions. And so we're layering on legislation, we're layering on sometimes layers, and we're not necessarily meeting the needs that we need to meet, right? I can tell you on a local level, if we have the resources at the micro level, the local level, we can make things happen. And so I think one of the solutions is, and Sacramento has done a good job of doing this, particularly over the last year, getting the resources into the hands of the local government officials, the local health departments, the counties, to allow for projects like Project Home Key that is actually providing beds. We're buying motels and hotels and converting these into bridge housing for individuals to get off the streets. That to me is amazing. Has been an amazing success. We need to continue that, but we also need to build more. We're doing, I think, a phenomenal job here in Long Beach with our ADUs. Those are residents stepping up and saying, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna build onto our existing properties and provide housing opportunities, even if that is for a family member who would otherwise be out there." It's helping to solve the problem. And so it's a complex problem, homelessness. It's no individual should be blamed for it, but no individual should be completely responsible for solving this. This is everyone's issue.
Everyone.
We all have family members or we know someone who may be, experiencing homelessness at this point, right? What are we doing to help that?
Yeah, that's a big problem, man, that you guys have right there. Let me ask you this. It's so describe for me the mental health capabilities of the city. So, and how does that work? Because it seems to me like, we either need to bolster that or, figure out a way to enhance mental health services when we begin to speak about homelessness or people out here on the streets. Because it's, when you look, you're like, oh, this person needs to be in a hospital or something somewhere, how does the city respond in the mental health area?
Well, we're doing some creative things here in the city of Long Beach. In the budget that we just passed, we created a new program called REACH, and the acronym forgive me. But REACH actually is a program where we are creating mental health teams comprised of nurses, licensed clinical social workers, and outreach workers that will be teams of 4 that are going out in the community and being proactive, responding to resident calls about encampments, but also being proactive to do outreach with our homeless or unhoused population in the city of Long Beach. They'll be providing resources, but also those contacts are extremely important. This is a non-law enforcement model. We had a HEART team, which consisted of firefighters who were doing this type of work. We basically said, hey, you know what? Let's try this model with professionals who are social workers, who are medical professionals, but who are also outreach workers to actually do that. There's resources to do that. Again, I mentioned about resources coming from Sacramento, also sources from the federal government that allow us to do that. And we're going to kick that program off in this budget cycle, this fiscal year, and assess the success. And I think that's a big part of dealing with this challenge, right? We come up with solutions. We need to assess the impact and efficacy of those solutions and build on them if possible. And so this is one way we're looking at doing that.
Wow,
from a mental health perspective.
Right. That's really something. I mean, even all across the region, I know they were talking about turning the men's central jail in downtown Los Angeles into a mental health facility as opposed to a correctional facility. I know they were really hot on that. Mark Ridley Thomas and those types of people around our region. So as you can see, local governments responding, and saying, hey, we need more mental health services, in our cities. Now, it's been a rough 18 months for us since the pandemic and George Floyd and all of that whole thing. And the cry that we kept hearing was defund the police. Did y'all do that?
Well, actually, in our FY21 budget, we actually did defund we had to reduce funding significantly for our police department, over $10 million. I think that equated to 51 full-time positions from the police department. Obviously, 2020 and bridging into 2021, there were a lot of unexpected needs in the city related to public safety. Over the last year, we've seen an increase in, violent crime, guns related crime, as well as traffic, man. Speeding throughout the city and traffic challenges have been a real challenge. And so I think the city council made a conscious decision going into this budget to make some augmentations on our decisions last year. Now, not too much, but to the degree we need to make sure that we are delivering services and maintaining public safety and listening to all of our constituents. We are obviously open and looking to be innovative in our approaches to law enforcement and policing. I think you'll see that in some of the work that we've done. Just this past Tuesday, just the other day, we were able to pass a resolution supporting the Lewis Registry at USC. I brought forth a motion to basically say the city of Long Beach supports this. We want to be a partner and a resource in building this database. The Lewis Registry is basically a registry that is going to be a national database that will identify police officers who have been fired for misconduct or resigned from misconduct cases. And obviously, we respect due process rights of any employee, but once they get to that point, they get to go into a national registry, and these individuals will be flagged so that they don't get on erroneously to another department and then go and cause harm in a community. So I think that's a good faith step, but also it's a smarter approach to governing, right? If we can support these type of efforts as a city council and show that the city of Long Beach is going to be serious about constitutional policing, compassionate policing, but also hold our officers accountable for their actions in the community at all times. I think that's what we can do.
So being very, very proactive out there at City Hall with regard to the police, because no doubt we need the police out here. I mean, we might have said defund the police, but it's off the chain on these streets.
And it's our job. I mean, no elected official runs for office and says, I want to make your streets less safe, right? people depend on us to make good decisions to improve safety, quality of life, and overall livability in their communities. And so that's what we're aiming to do.
Wow, that's really really great. Now, I know this is not your district or anything like that, but I'm still just kind of curious because I feel for the city when I think about the Queen Mary. That's a big job for the city council there. What's it looking like? We're going to be able to we're going to save it, or what's our steps there?
So I'm going to give you a very interesting answer. That's to be determined. Obviously,
Okay.
Queen Mary is an iconic symbol for the city of Long Beach, but it has provided us and presented major challenges for
Hmm.
decades. And no matter what the solution is and where we land, it's going to be a resource decision, right? Major resource decision. Um, from an operational standpoint, but um, it's going to drag on one fund or another, right? And it's important, and so we have to find the right partners. And right now, we're talking to the Port of Long Beach as a potential partner in taking over the operations and management of the land around the Queen Mary. That's a potential solution. We're studying this issue and have been studying this issue for the last several months. I got to tell you, I'm very disappointed in how the uh, the most recent management group of the Queen Mary how that played out. I really feel like that, there those actions should be investigated a little deeper. I mean, forensic audits and even the example of malfeasance going on there. I believe that should not be gone. That should not be unpunished in many respects, particularly from the bad actors who really um, did not, in my opinion, represent in good faith.
Yeah, when I read the news reports, I'm saying, man, there's some shenanigans going on over there. That's a big. My brother was sharing with me. My younger brother was sharing with me. He took a part-time job during the what's it called, the Halloween event that they have out there, and he was sharing how
Okay.
he was able to go into the depths and the bowels of the Queen Mary, and how he said, Greg, you would be surprised with what you see. Is he's like, is this thing gonna stay afloat, or what? And he said it clearly does need some work down in the underbelly of that fantastic vessel. But he also said that, from his perspective, he doesn't live in Long Beach, but just from his perspective of being in Southern California, that we need to do whatever we can in the city to save it, because it deserves. He's kind of adopted his spirit to the character of the Queen Mary, and he said we got to try to fix it. So whatever we need to do, we got to fix it, I think.
People feel very strongly on one side or another, and I feel like that's going to be a citywide conversation at some point that we need to come to grips with. Queen Mary represents a lot. I mean, people are emotionally tied to that ship. I can recall, when the Spruce Goose was there, right?
Yes.
That was also part of our history. There was a decision made to allow that plane, the famed Howard Hughes built to go up to I believe it's in McMinnville, Oregon now. But I think the land around the Queen Mary offers a lot of opportunity for the city of Long Beach as well, in terms of economic development, entertainment value. We have to, I think, embrace our future as well. And the Queen Mary could very well be part of that. Um, but this is an exciting time to serve on the city council, to be part of those decisions, and understanding that the decisions that we will make as a city council in the next few years and have made over the last few years. I got to tell you, I've been on for 9 years on the city council here in Long Beach and seen amazing strides here in the city and changes. But we'll be part of those decisions, and I'm looking forward to it, being prepared for it.
I know we want to talk about your big concert coming up this weekend, but before we get that, you know how you and
Okay.
I, every time we intersect, you know, I gotta, you know, bid your ear a little bit about arts and culture in the, you know, in the city, and you know, we've had a number of really rich conversations about it. You know, arts and culture is so essential to the life of Long Beach, and you know, I think in your district, District 8, you have a lot of different really good foundational events and expressions of arts and culture. You got the Expo Arts Center up there. You know, you're doing your first Fridays. First Friday coming back, and how important, I guess it is, to your district, the life of your district, is the first Fridays event.
Well, first, Greg, let me just thank you for your commitment to arts and culture in the city of Long Beach. You know, you're everything arts and culture. You've been everywhere. You're part of it. Your service on our Arts Council is greatly appreciated. And absolutely, here in the Eighth District, the great Eighth District, we pride ourselves on art and culture. You know, not only do we, and history as well. Not only do we have, you know, First Fridays and yes, First Fridays is back. It's already back. So we want to invite you out to the next First Fridays. There'll be plenty of surprises, and it'll be awesome. It's always an awesome vibe, as you know. But also I can announce now that the African American Cultural Center of Long Beach will be making a home at the Expo as
Oh
well.
wow!
So that's a big deal. It's a temporary home until we can build a building, but I understand that there was an agreement reached just in the last week or so, and that will be that'll be taking form in very short order. And then, you know, the arts. I mean, the murals around our district and city are really part of the character and identity of Long Beach. You know, I like to think that the arts are part of our DNA as a city, and really what makes us thrive and makes our residents, or helps our residents feel connected to their city in a unique way. Um, and you know, the COVID situation, over a year of not going out and having live entertainment in restaurants and on the streets, in our parks, in our parking lots, if you're here in the Eighth District, uh, the or our rancho for that matter. We 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 uh, we really missed that, and now that that's going on, we've got municipal band in our parks again. It's a vibe. It's a great thing, and you can see people really the change. You can feel that people feel more at home, and feel a lot better about their city today.
You know,
So we'll
someone's at.
continue that. We're going to continue that. That's part of who we are. We'll continue investing. I mean, we know we passed Measure B a couple years ago, and many of our arts and organizations and cultural organizations are being funded through, you know, TOT, taxes, and other resources. We stay committed to that. We also created a universal basic income program for artists here. That was the first here, right here in Long Beach. I got to give credit to Mayor Garcia for his innovation, and I know the Arts Council was really instrumental in helping to bring that forward as well. So, you know, we love our artists. We're committed to our artists, but we're committed to everything that they bring and um, to our city of beautiful city of Long Beach.
Here's a great question here. What's ahead for the business community in general in your district? I mean, what are you hearing? I know the restaurants along, what is that, Atlantic? I know they're glad to get back to it, and you know, and I know you're having to adjust. You got to start at first. You start out with the parklets, taking up lanes on on the streets, but you know, needed to be right so that people can, so the restaurants could survive and everything. In your district, you know, have you seen a good rate of survival in the COVID? And then now that we're beginning to recover, are you seeing, you know, the talk about the resiliency and the vibrancy of the business community in the Eighth District? What's your biggest challenge? What's your biggest success? Where are we going?
I will say COVID presented some tremendous challenges to small businesses and even our restaurants. And you know, we are a resilient community. We're a resilient city. You know, we actually saw, you know, we lost a few restaurants, we lost a few small businesses, but we also gained several new restaurants and several new small businesses even during that period of time. And so, yes, particularly depends on where you are in the city. There are certain districts, business districts that businesses want to locate in and have a better opportunity to thrive. We still have challenges in certain areas of the city and my district as well, where we're trying to develop and light that fire to inspire others to do. And there's a great opportunity in our North Village where the 8th District and 9th District kind of intersect. The South Street Atlantic corridor really needs some attention right now. We've been meeting with developers, both Vice Mayor Richardson and myself, and our economic development team, trying to develop some strategies and work collectively, concertedly toward getting the development, economic development push we need to add life to some of our business corridors. You know, we're very fortunate to have 2 business districts in our area of town. We have the Bixby Knolls Business Improvement District, as well as the Uptown BID. And I now know that the Long Beach Center for Economic Development, or Economic Inclusion, excuse me, is now playing a bigger role in our Uptown BID to help with not only small business development, but also looking at housing needs and bringing those needs together. And so I think you're going to see some exciting results in the next short order. Let's just say that. I don't put time on projects anymore. I've learned my lesson, but I'm inspired about some of the opportunities. We're actually talking to Barbara Morrison right now to potentially locate a museum here, a jazz museum in the 8th District, and so really excited about that. You know, there's I'm understanding that the deal is close, and Barbara Morrison is somebody who we love and respect, and you know, she's an icon here in the city of Long Beach and throughout the Southern California community in terms of her.
Yeah, we did one of our Dream Creator Studio projects for Juneteenth. We filmed actually in her space in Leimert Park, and she was very, very ecstatic about coming to Long Beach with the museum. I mean, she was excited. So that's a good thing. For those of you that don't know, Barbara Morrison is a jazz icon, and right here in Southern California, always coming to the Long Beach Jazz Festival when it manifests itself out there in the Rainbow Lagoon. That's a good historic placement, I think, for culture right there in the 8th District. Now, you know, I went to the Rancho the other day, as you know, and I'm driving through your district, and I was like, man, this district over here is very, very diverse. On one end, you got mansions and big lawns, and you know, and then on the other end, it's, you know, I'm just gonna say it like this: straight community. You know, how do you navigate? How does a council person navigate such a wide, diverse constituency? You are speaking a lot of languages there, sir.
You know, I'm glad you recognize that. It is a diverse district. It is a diverse city. I really think that my district actually is a microcosm of the city of Long Beach in a lot of ways. I've said that for many years. You know, when you look at Long Beach and you characterize it as sometimes the tale of 2 cities, you know, the 8th District is very much that. You know, I have a country club and a
right.
One of the few country clubs here, and oldest country clubs west of the Mississippi, right here in Long Beach in the 8th District. And then we have the 2nd largest public housing development in LA County within literally a mile and a half of one another,
Right.
and all in the same district. I deal with the country club. I deal with the housing developments. We have Section 8 housing, all very very closely populated or in close geographic areas, and as a result, I think it makes me a better public servant because it forces me to listen and see issues from perspectives that oftentimes, maybe my colleagues haven't thought about.
Mhm.
Or the decisions that I'm making because I've heard from all sides and all interests, and trying to figure out that sweet spot to balance those interests. Obviously, sometimes it's philosophical and just right. You have to do what's right, like
Sure.
ensuring that people maintain their housing. Obviously, we're going to keep people housed. We're going to keep people fed. Those basic needs for families in our communities. But there's some strong philosophical differences. And when you talk about diversity, you have ethnic diversity, you have economic diversity, but you
Mhm.
also have philosophical diversity. And I think we have to always consider that when we're governing.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
A
I
city
was.
like Long Beach, a city like Long Beach, and a district like this particularly.
Mhm. Mhm. What could bring Long Beach together more? It's almost like you say, tale of two cities, but really tale of nine cities because each district has its own little character, right? It's all these little silos, and where you go, and what can unify Long Beach? Like, this is just a really general question here. What do you think could unify Long Beach even the more? Because we need unity now more than ever,
Well,
but yeah.
I don't. Let me just say, Greg. I mean, you said nine different cities. I mean, our city is decided to go to districts, and it's funny how people identify themselves in the city of Long Beach by what district they live in, because
Right.
and that's some political awareness, right? But we're
Yes.
also going to a redistricting process, which could really turn that upside down, right? We have a new
Mm.
citizens independent redistricting process, um, and they could tweak those lines, and I'm the eighth district today. I might be something else tomorrow. Who
Right.
knows? I mean, that they could redefine our city, literally, with the redistricting process. And so
Mm.
I like to look at Long Beach as a city that is made up of neighborhoods, right, and communities. And if they don't give you where they live in terms of district, in terms of description, they definitely will tell you that I live in this community. I live in
Mm.
Bluff Park. I live in Belmont Shore. I live in Bixby Knolls. I live in the Adams community or Carmelitos. They'll tell you the neighborhood, the community that they live. Jackson Park. I can just, there are dozens and dozens of neighborhoods and communities where people are very proud of their identity and distinction here in the city of Long Beach.
Mm.
Now, what can we do to bring us together? I think we do a pretty good job of that. Most people that live in the city of Long Beach are proud of the city of Long Beach. We like to
Yes.
say that we live in Long Beach, not LA.
Yes.
And there's a reason why folks live in Long Beach. They choose to live in Long Beach. If and there's a lot of reasons to be proud to live in
Mhm.
Long Beach. I got to say that. Um, and if we continue to lead our city in a manner that is equitable, that we're looking at and understanding that every one of our residents has value. Their opinions are valued. That we value livability, and safety and uh, community.
Mm.
Folks will continue to respond as loyal, proud residents of this city,
Mm.
and that's one thing that we can unify around. If
Mm.
challenges like COVID-19, I will say it was a challenge, but at the same time, you saw the best of our city when it came to community service, right? When we had unrest, the next day, hundreds of residents were out volunteering, cleaning up their city, right? Just cleaning up. If they could just do anything. I saw that. I witnessed that. And was something powerful. But not only that, when it came to, hey, you know what, our residents and our neighbors are down and out and might be, you know, not have food or may not have access to get to food. I saw hundreds and hundreds of residents coming together, figuring it out, how to deliver groceries to seniors, how to get food and deliver food and distribute food to neighbors and those in needs. We saw that. We saw that over and over again, and we continue to see that. And so this is an amazing city from a community standpoint. We've got great community-based organizations. We have great neighborhoods. We have a spirit in this city that you don't see in other places. And then and I'll just say that our city council meetings are probably some of the most populated, engaged public meetings that you'll see anywhere in the state. And so that tells me that we have engagement at a level that is unique, but we're also always working to improve that as well.
You know, I'll say as a media person, I wish that we could pull a Nielsen rating on the Tuesday night city council
Exactly.
meeting, because I think it's probably the highest rated show in this marketplace. Is because everybody you talk to, they're like, okay, I gotta watch the city council meeting. It comes on, you know. I mean, they're making appointments to watch the city council. It's a thing here in the beautiful city of Long Beach. That has always amazed me since I came here. I'm like, hey, they are really watching. You know, it's primetime viewing. Yeah.
Well, I'm very, very proud of that, you know, and I've had the privilege to attend council meetings and board of supervisor meetings, county, state, and work with government at every level all across the state of California with my work. And I can honestly say that there's very few places that have the engagement like the city of Long Beach.
Yeah. They are definitely engaged. All right, so now you having your, you know, we're in the
Yes.
season where the different local municipalities are having their festivals. Last week we had the Uptown Jazz Festival, and then you had over in Gardena, Steve Bradford Gardena Jazz Festival. Now we having End of Summer Festival. Man, that's a good one there. What tell me a little bit about the history there of that festival, and what made you bring David Benoit? How'd you pull that one off?
Hey, listen, this is one of those stories about community empowerment and empowering our residents. I had a resident. Her name is Deb Peterson. She recently retired from Long Beach City College, and she said, "Hey, you know, I want to do an event because I think our community deserves this, particularly, you know, because we weren't able to do anything in 2020. I want to do something big here, and I want to produce it. I want to put it on for you." And I said, "Okay, yeah, you know what? Knock yourself out. I know I have full confidence, and she's has some connections, and she actually, along with our Partners of Parks organization, we put together an amazing committee. Deb Peterson, you know, my dear friend, you know, the McDonald's mogul, Lindsay Hughes, and a few others said, hey, you know what, we're going to put together something cool here, right here in Shear Park, right here in the Great 8th District, something that we as a community can be proud of. And so now we are happy to present Saturday to our end of summer jazz celebration, headlined by David Benoit and so many other exciting, well-known artists, local artists as well. It's going to be a great day from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Right here at Shear Park in the heart of what we call the original Uptown. We invite everybody to join us. We want to enforce or encourage, let me just say, strongly encourage safe practices that day. You know, we're going to be recognizing the jazziest, the coolest masking. So if you have your bedazzled mask, you got a jazzy mask, wear that. But also we'll have COVID testing on site. and as well as COVID vaccination on site. We want to make sure that we're emphasizing health, safety, but also more importantly, having fun as a community.
This is really interesting and right in the line of, I love to have this conversation about music and the history of music and Long Beach as a city, just essential to American popular music, and when you all are having these festivals here in the city, it's a big deal. It resonates right into the DNA of the culture of Long Beach, And I'm really glad to hear that you are doing this at Shear Park. So that's Atlantic and what's the street? Right there by the police
It's
station, right?
actually Long Beach Boulevard between Atlantic and Long Beach Boulevard. Shear Park runs between both of those intersected
Okay.
At the Delamo intersection. So Delamo Atlantic parking is going to be tough. So we expect folks to probably park in the neighborhoods. If you can
Mhm.
Uber and ride share, we encourage that. Bring your lawn chair, bring your blankets, bring your refreshment. But we also have some exciting food trucks on court on
Yeah.
deck there to
Yeah.
provide some good food. But also there'll be a kids corner for
Mhm.
kids to
Mhm.
kind of come together and understand jazz. I was
Mhm.
very fortunate to learn and actually play jazz at a young age. Coming from Detroit, my father played saxophone. Um, my grandfather was a drummer. My uncle was a trumpeter. Everybody did something musically, and jazz was really part of what I grew up with. And so, if you are a real jazz aficionado, if you really love music, this is the event that you want to be at.
Okay. All right. All right. We got our photo exhibit here at Dream Creative. But as soon as we close it down, I'm headed to Shearer Park to hang out with my good friend, Councilman Al Austin. This is really, really great. Now, is this the first one or what's the.
Well, we did an event 2 years ago, and that,
Okay.
that had a blues jazz kind of
Oh, I
blend.
see.
And I think this one is going to be pretty much the same. But we're
Mhm.
looking at doing more events and programming Sheer Park more because we heard from the community that said, hey, you know what, we want to see more happening in this beautiful
In the
park
park.
resource that we have right
Mhm.
here in the heart of Great Eight District, and it merges North Long Beach and Bixby Knolls communities, Los Cerritos. Everybody can come there and really you can see the diversity of our amazing city. I think
I
that
see
that
our
that park is.
I see our producers put up some. So Bubba Jackson is going to be there, hosted by Kenny
Yes.
Jazz. Let's see, David Benoit. What is he? The opening lineup will include millennial musicians who are. I'm sorry, I lost my glasses, y'all. So I got to get up on the screen here. Are deemed to be the next generation of jazz stars, Xavier X. Gordon and Black Nile to hometown favorite Tatiana Tate. Oh, that's right. He did tell me that she was going to be there. A
Yes.
horn line from the Long Beach City College Jazz Studies program. This is about to be really, really great. That's what I see. Wow. Al Austin, you pulled it. This is wow. This is a
Yeah,
good one.
it's quite the event. We're very proud of it, and looking forward to it. Again, we wanna encourage folks to come out. Bring your dominoes, the domino
That's right.
tables. We want you to wear nice hats. You bring your linen suits out. We want it to be cool.
Wherever Lindsay Hughes is, you got to have your domino game ready. Good, good. How's your domino game?
Oh man, that's what we do. Well, that's what we do.
Okay, okay. I thought you was a golf guy though.
Oh man, no, I try to do a little bit of everything, man. But they're back in the day. I I used to give classes on dominoes.
Mhm. Oh shoot. Oh, we're gonna have
We
to
we we
I might have to sign up for some lessons there. Let's see what you
yeah
got.
we provide lessons anytime.
Mhm, mhm. Council member, I want to just, on a personal note, first of all, I do want to extend my condolences on transition of your dad, and I really respect you as being a really big family man. And this is why I'm bringing this part up. And give shout out to your lovely wife, Daisha Austin. Rhonda Love, you can't really take credit for bringing me to Long Beach, because it was Daisha Austin years and years ago called me when I worked at the radio station, said, you need to come to Long Beach for our Martin Luther King Festival. And that's how I was introduced to the community with Sister Daisha Austin. And wow, it's so funny. When I was first coming to Long Beach, we were at an event and I think it was for the African American Cultural Center up at the Rancho there. And I was walking to my car, and I saw the sister when we walked by each other. And then I'm thinking, I said, I know that lady from somewhere. And it was Daisha Austin. It was like, she's like, you're in Long Beach now? I was like, yeah, I am. But kudos to you and Daisha, and just a lot of love and light. And you're a great example of a Black father, a role model for a lot of us in the community, and I want to just give you big ups on your family and what you are as a man.
Well, thank you so much. I take that as the highest compliment. My family is, and my wife are the most important things in my life right now. So, being a father is the biggest job that I think I have in terms of raising men. Right now, we have three great young men who we're raising. My youngest is now 16 years old and standing 2-3 inches taller than I am, and muscled up. They're doing great with their athletics. One at Oregon State, another, doing well at Poly. It looks like he's gonna have a strong potential college career in front of him as well. So we're blessed, immensely blessed, and Long Beach has been good to my family. And so we like to give back, and we'll continue to give back to our city as well.
That's right. All right. What's the future look like for Al Austin? After you term out or whatever happens in the city council, where are we going? What are we about to do?
Well, we're not ready to make any major announcements right now. We want to obviously continue. I'm going to just say when I was a little kid, when people would ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? I would say I want to be a public servant. And, I thought I wanted to go to Washington, D.C. and be a congressman, but I know that in a lot of ways I am fulfilling, my dreams every day. When I was a kid, I wanted to grow up to being a public servant. And so public service is going to be in my future, be that an elected office or another capacity. We will see. And fortunately, the voters here in Grade 8 District and in Long Beach have rewarded me for I think consistency and good work, and we'll continue to do that.
All right, that's a good thing. I really, really love it that you are, committed to public service. That's what's up, and we really need that. We need balanced leadership, and I think, especially at such a time as this one, where we're as the public, every day we look up, man, the doggone recall. There's all kinds of stuff happening politically, and it's good to see people like yourself in these positions who are giving us balanced leadership, who are working hard to make the correct decisions, and exercising strong judgment on what we need to have. And I really, really appreciate you. Now, I will say I do appreciate you so much for the whole budget thing, because I know you're the chair of that committee. And how much sleep have you gotten in the last couple of months trying to put that together?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot going on over the last month, and so sleep has been a privilege at this point. But last night I slept very well. We because we passed the budget Tuesday night, and it was pretty uneventful, pretty smooth process. I want to thank all of my colleagues for their indulgence. But it takes a lot of work to get to consensus and build a consensus around a budget document that really will guide the city and one that reflects the values and priorities of the city. As chair of the budget process, it actually gives me a great opportunity to see the city from a citywide lens, because I get a chance to talk to each and every one of my colleagues, understand their priorities, what's going on in their districts, and then each and every one of our city department heads, and understanding how the operations of the city are impacted by the decisions that we make as a city council member. And so I'm very, very fortunate. I've been on the budget committee for, I want to say, 5 or 6 years, and this is my second year chairing the committee and the process. It's been a real honor, and it is an honor to work with such a talented staff. Our city manager, I think, is the very best. And we also have some awesome talent in our financial management unit. With our financial manager, Greg Sheen, just a privilege to work with all these amazing, talented folks in the city of Long Beach. So we got a good document. We'll continue to do that. But I did want to just pivot, if you're giving me an opportunity, because you didn't ask
Yes,
me.
sir.
But I think we on September 14th, it's the last day to vote in this recall election. I think this recall election is a circus, and I don't like that. I don't like public service being. There's politics, and I've always said that, politics is a rite to passage to public service, particularly for elected officials, right? And we should be held accountable for our actions. But COVID-19, there was never a blueprint to fix or to address a pandemic in the state of California. I think we should all be reasonable and thoughtful about that as we proceed. There was no blueprint on the local level, the state level, federal level on how to deal with this. On the local level, we have exceeded in terms of expectations with our response, our vaccination operations and outreach, and I think we're exceeding on our recovery. And that's because we've had good leadership and support from our state, right? And I want to make sure that we tie that together. I'm voting no and encouraging folks to vote no on this recall, and nothing else, because the candidates that are out there, I've not heard one of them offer any solutions to California's challenges right now, and I think it would be extremely risky and irresponsible for us to recall the governor who has been in office. Whether you like his personality a lot or not, you have to recognize that governing a state like California is not an easy job. It's probably one of the toughest jobs that you could possibly do. It's a huge behemoth, and it's really a waste of taxpayer resources when you look at we're spending $220-30 million on a political circus, and guess what? We have we have an election which we will elect a governor again in the next year in 2022. Is this really worth it? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. Do we need to take this risk? I'm saying no.
Right. So, I was going to ask you. So, we want to make sure and encourage the listeners to this program. And if you come across any of our platforms, Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com, we're going to be steadfast in sharing information about this recall election. I mean, the one thing it is, and I'll repeat this, we really need to participate. We can't just blow it off, because our non-participation could result in a mess up. Don't you agree? What are those?
Right.
What are those crazy guys who get in office?
Well, that's the strategy behind it. I think there's a lot of fatigue in terms of voters, in terms of just elections period right now. This is an off election. It's not an off election cycle, which a lot of money will be spent doing outreach from all sides. But it's one where people may not be paying attention, and it may not be because it has a circus environment, it may not bring out voters necessarily. Right. And so turnout is going to be extremely important for I mean, the turnout for the right side or the no side is going to be very, very important to defeat this recall. But let me just say, the recall process is part of the California's constitution, and that might be something we need to revisit, right? You see it happen just because there might be an opportunity or might be an issue that will touch people's hearts or emotions, right? And really, this recall is about people not wanting to wear masks.
Right. Yeah.
I think not just masks, but obviously some of the responses to COVID-19. But again, there was no blueprint. There was no most of the government officials, particularly at the executive level, were kind of making it up with the data and information that they were provided, making policy decisions, executive decisions, with the interest of helping save lives. That was the most important piece, right? Saving lives. And let's not forget that we lost thousands and thousands of loved ones, residents, citizens of the state, not as a result of bad decisions from Sacramento, but more irresponsibility and obviously this dreadful virus, right? If we would have known then what we know now about masking, distancing, vaccinations, and other precautions, and if we had not have had the stay-at-home orders and other very, very impactful decisions, we would have lost more people, and I think we should keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I can see that. I mean, I always, comment to myself. I'm like, well, we've never been in a pandemic before. We were at the Los Angeles County Hall of Administration the day they shut everything down. And you could see Mayor Garcetti and all of these county officials and everything. You could see the look on their face as they were announcing, okay, you got to stay at home, everything's locked down and everything. The look on their face was like, oh, holy crap, what am I going to do? And like I said earlier, I think all of you in these positions of responsibility should be commended on how you've guided us through, an unprecedented time, the pandemic, civil unrest, just all the stuff that's happened in the last 18 months or so. It's a tall order. Now you try to keep the 8th district afloat, but they add a pandemic going on. It's like, man, that's a lot going on.
Well, when you're in a decision, when we're in a position to make decisions to affect and impact the lives of thousands and thousands or millions of people in a state or even a city, that's a huge responsibility, and you want to make sure that you're getting the decisions and making the decisions that are going to be the best decisions that help the greater good. And when you're talking about life and death, you're always, I would say most people are going to err on the side of caution and err on the side of the safest approach, right? And that's what I think. I commend Governor Newsom for his efforts there. Now, there were some fumbles in the process, but again, there was no blueprint. If we had to do it over again, I'm sure there would be a few decisions that we would make differently based on what we know today. But if you just look at the issue as a whole, I think California has responded pretty well to a crisis, being the largest state in the nation, the most populous state in the nation, the most diverse state in the nation, and one of the largest economies in the world here in the state of California. It's not anything to play with when it comes to governance. So you don't want characters or celebrities, for that matter, governing our state, individuals who don't have any experience or background or even understand the institutional knowledge about how to actually govern a state like California. I think we're in a good place right now, and I think we should stay the course.
All right, y'all. August 30th, I think, is the last day to register to vote, and September 14th is the vote. Did you get your ballot in the mail? Check it out. There's ways you can track it, all of that. Participate in the process. It's exceedingly important for all of the reasons that the honorable council member has outlined for us right there. It's important, y'all, this whole recall thing. It's so funny, Council Member Austin, in California, we're talking about this recall in other states. We trying to make sure that voting rights stay intact. They're marching on Washington this weekend while we'll be having our activities on Saturday. They're marching on Washington to make sure that we can, Black folk and people of color can maintain our rights. It's a crazy political world out here.
It is, and voting rights is extremely important. I go back. Just imagine the impact of a recall election on our national political structure. It would rock the nation, and the impacts will be dramatic, and including having impacts on voting rights nationally, right? And so that we have to be thoughtful about how these politics are being played out, and what the impacts of those decisions the voters can actually make in terms of not just here on a local level and in California, but on a national level. I want to just give you a story. I was a union rep, got elected with the UAW back in 1993, and my first major political exposure was sending me my here in Long Beach. My local union president said, "Hey, I want to send you to Washington, D.C. to the 30th anniversary March on Washington," and that was in 1993, right? And I had an opportunity to go there and represent, 20-some thousand aerospace workers at this march, and got to meet so many national leaders, political leaders, labor leaders, and it was really a igniting kind of moment for me. It was it really lit my flame, and I think I've been motivated to engage and make change in our communities and at home ever since. I got the chance to meet civil rights leaders and congressional leaders and folks who are icons in the civil rights movement, labor movement. It was really an inspiring moment for me. I really wish I could be there this Saturday, but we have things going on, and I'm trying to minimize my travel at this point. But that's an inspiring event, just to be there to commemorate, the work that Dr. Martin Luther King led in.
Uh-oh. Well, can't hear you. What happened? Well, hey, I can't hear you there, council member, but are you there? No. Oh, wow. Let's see. Uh-oh. Well, we lost the council member there. It's the end of our time anyway. Wow, what a great conversation with Council Member Al Austin of the 8th District of the city of Long Beach. We talked about the budget. It's a done deal. I think he's coming back, looks like. We talked about so many things happening around our city. Very enlightening conversation this morning, Coffee Conversations with Greg J. Tuesday, there he is. Okay, let me grab him up. Bam, there he is. Yeah, Tuesday.
Sorry about that.
Hey, no worries. We're just recapping what we've talked about today. Very enriching and enlightening conversation with you this morning. We really appreciate you for coming on. Thank you for everything that you do. It was great, to hear, from your perspective, what's happening around our great city here in Long Beach. Tuesday, we have Dr. Anissa Davis coming through to chop it up about the COVID situations that we are faced with. She's been a great source of information throughout the pandemic since we began doing the coffee conversations with Greg J. She's come on a couple of times to share with us about the importance of getting vaccinated, the symptoms, the COVID, just all things COVID. She's been open to come on and share with the people. So she's coming back again as we, try to wrap our brains around this surge, I guess, is what's happening out here in the community. To want to keep us safe. Any last words you want to say to the peoples there, Councilmember Al Austin?
Just keep the faith, and thank you again for inviting me to spend some time with you, enjoy some coffee. We're long overdue, and look forward to spending some time with you again, seeing you around the community. We just ask folks to continue to stay vigilant about their health, and be understanding and thoughtful about others in the community as we continue to deal with the challenges of a pandemic.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have to bring you some of my coffee. We import coffee from Cameroon, West Africa. We just
yes. I think I need a new bag.
Okay.
We need some new beans.
Okay, you got a deal. Let's make it so. Make it so. All right, y'all. Remember, love one another. We got the Summers In Festival with David Benoit happening, Shear Park. Got the photo exhibit at Dream Creator Studio. It's a lot going on, and it's all to the positive and all love. And that's why we want to continue to share love and light with you whenever we get out here and communicate through our various platforms. So love one another, love one another, love one another. Peace and blessings.
Thank you.